Hello and welcome to another edition of the Indulge podcast. Today we have a treat for you. Our guest today is Anusha Swamy. She is a makeup artist extraordinaire, a dance choreographer to the stars, and more recently a self-taught potter. But today on the show, we are going to talk about what she's best known for with her thousands of followers on Instagram, taking pole dancing as an art form from risqué and associated with being overly sexualized to an art form that's beautiful and empowering and something that you and I can do to making it accessible. Welcome to the show, Anusha.
Thank you so much. That was very sweet. Thank you so much.
It's really fun. We've met once. We discussed just before this, and I've interviewed you before, but we've not ever sat down, had a conversation in person. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I follow you quite a bit on Instagram and all of your adventures. And you're going to be doing a pole workshop today, right after this.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's start at the very beginning. I already know the story, but for our listeners and those watching, how did this even come to be? Because this is not something that was aspirational for you. You saw a movie as a little girl.
Yeah.
How did you begin pole dancing?
So, the story goes back a little back in time. So, I started dancing at a very young age, and then I continued it for about 15 years.
Okay.
So, when I was about 28, I felt like I needed to kind of, learn more. Suddenly, I had this urge to learn more. And I signed up for a course in the US. And I was supposed to go there 2020 July. Okay. And it needed me to physically be strong. Because if you see the dancers abroad, especially contemporary dancers, are extremely strong, extremely flexible. So it's like at least something close so I can go absorb as much. So when I went there, when I went to Australia for a holiday, I was like, I'm already 28. I don't know if I'm in the mindset to learn. It's a completely different thing to be a student. So I said, let me try learning something for fun for a week to see how I'm able to perform in a classroom. So the only thing that was closest to the hotel was the pole dancing studio. And I went there for about 4 days. I was so obsessed with it, and it was extremely liberating. That whole feeling of just being able to fly was so liberating. And when I came back, COVID hit. I never went to the US. Never did that thing, but did something completely different, which is pole.
Well, you said that it felt really liberating. However, it takes a lot of core work, and so it must have been pretty hard. Wasn't that the first impression? Like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? Also, for context, what are the different dance forms that you had sort of in your arsenal before you even started this?
I started with Kuchipudi. That was my base.
Oh my God, from Kuchipudi to
from
such
Kuchipudi
a huge,
to pole.
Yeah, it's a huge shift.
So I started with Kuchipudi, then I got into Latin American styles of dancing like salsa, jive and all of that. And then I joined the films. So I was in the films for about 10 years. So in the films, there's no particular one style. You need to know everything. You need to be versatile. So that's how I think that came in. So by the time I was at the pole studio, my strength or flexibility was good enough for a beginner. I was definitely a little bit better than how most people may have started, only because of my dance background, nothing else. So then, so the beauty about pole is you won't really feel like you're working out. It's very different compared to holding a plank for a minute.
Okay.
So when you're holding a plank, you have nothing else to think about but the plank and how much it hurts or how much it burns. But with pole, you kind of enjoy the burn, you enjoy the pain. So
because the music and just feeling really
just feeling
empowered.
Good about yourself. You're like, whoa, I'm able to lift myself off the ground. Like I'm defying
How long
gravity.
does it take to be able to do that?
Every single person can do it in their first class.
Are you serious?
Yes, 100%. So there is something in pole for literally anybody. every body type, every gender, every sexuality. There's something or the other for every single person in pole. There's something that definitely sparks that joy and that makes you feel good about yourself.
And I remember you telling me earlier that a big question with a beginner is often, I'm a little heavy. Is that going to affect my ability to do it early on? And that's not the case.
Absolutely not. I mean, I feel like, yes, of course, the learning curve and how much you weigh will affect your performance in the long run, meaning that you will not progress in the same way as someone who has an ideal body weight.
Right.
But the ideal body weight in itself is such a scam.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
What I mean by that is someone could be 50 kgs and 164 centimeters height and still be able to perform everything. They could still be athletic. Right. Similarly, someone could be on the heavier side and still be active.
But there is that basic calculation, right? Your height to weight ratio.
Yeah, 100%. But like, for example, for me, my ideal weight would be anywhere between 60 to 65.
Okay.
But I don't want to weigh so much. So it's on me.
Because you want to feel lighter.
Yeah, I want to feel lighter. But I'm not saying that you should or you should not be unhealthy or heavy or slim or thin. I'm not trying to go into those labels.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is every body type is suitable for pole.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I did not know that. I thought that I'd have to really gain core strength if I wanted to try it. Okay.
So the thing is, it's almost like you are holding on to the pole in the beginning stages, at least. That's how it works. You wouldn't know to squeeze the pole between your legs or your hands. The pole will kind of hold you. So it'll take some time, but you'll get there. You'll definitely get there. We've had students who were on the heavier side who actually thought they may not be able to do anything. But as time progresses, they're able to perform better. And in that process, they might lose weight. They might gain some muscle. They might get strong. Yeah.
Okay. And what are the common first 3 questions you get asked on average by everybody?
First thing is, can I do it? I'm like, only you can answer that. I cannot. Like, I cannot tell you, come, you'll definitely do it, because then, and if they're not able to do it, then they're going to be disappointed, and that means I lied to you. So I'm always honest. I'm like, only if you want to. You can do it if you want to. Second is, what's the age limit? There is no age limit. Our youngest has been 4 years old.
Wow.
Our oldest has been 70 years old.
My gosh.
Yeah, so there is no...
70 years old. Wow.
And there is no age limit on pole. I mean, it's an art form. You can never ask, how old can I be to dance? You can just do it. Like, it's similar to that. Again, it's about how you perceive pole. You want to compete at 70, that's a completely different ball game. You want to compete at
a different league.
Yeah, that's a different league. But to just enjoy the feeling of being on the pole, I'm pretty sure everybody can. Yeah.
What can you wear? What can you not wear?
There is no such thing. You can wear whatever the hell you want to wear. Let's start there.
Okay, but like also like you don't want to have like burns on your legs and things like that.
It is going to happen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it's like being on the road and playing and then not expecting to fall.
Okay.
As a child, I'm pretty sure all of us have gone through that.
But are there some fabrics that are more conducive that you won't like slip in?
So there are 2 kinds of poles. One is the silicone coated pole, which is more suitable for
a beginner.
A beginner, or even the subcontinent that we are in,
right.
Because of the judgments and all of that. So if you are a beginner who kind of struggles with the grip, then you can start off with the silicone. So with a silicone pole, you can wear whatever you want. Ideally leggings and sleeveless or full hands, full sleeves.
You want to wear something fitted.
Yeah, something fitted.
You don't want to come to class in a salwar and...
No, you don't.
You need something fitted
to
understand like grip.
Correct, because if I want to wear jeans, unless I'm really experienced in pole, what's going to happen is your skin might get stuck between the cloth, and that might pinch your skin, so you might get hurt.
Okay.
Similarly, if you're taking a chrome pole, one is you can wear these fake leather kind of latex kind of a thing that you get in the market, or you can wear your swimsuits or shorts and sports bra as well. So it's It's completely your choice.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the boots that you had on in your last couple of Instagram videos that sort of like have that cool shine.
Yeah.
That must have that must be much harder, right? Dancing in super high heels and
Absolutely.
completely different ball game.
100%. I recently read another pole artist, she had some thoughts about wearing heels, and she said, if you can't respect the strippers and the sex workers, do not wear heels. Because that's where it came from. Whether I like it, whether someone accepts it or someone judges it or not, that's the truth. They are the ones that first, started that culture.
Right.
And it's not at all easy. In fact, it's not even recommended to walk or dance in those heels. You can only pole in those heels because you don't really put a lot of weight on your legs and you kind of hang off of it.
I like that. That's such a flip in perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, I think that's a great transition to go into what were the limitations in your own mind when you began, when you sort of got exposed to this world, when you did your first trial class and you were like, let me give this a go. But you never at that point thought, I'm going to have a pole camp in Chennai. And you were in Australia, right? So different country, different culture.
Yeah.
So what kind of limitations did you have that you didn't even know you had? And that you sort of, grappled with, like in your own mind over the course of your journey, which has been how long since you began?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so the thing is, I think the journey began when I wanted to get into films in itself.
Okay.
It had very less to do with pole dancing, because all of this happened when I was 15.
Okay.
I got into the films and started working with actors and in the film industry and in that environment at such a young age. And it completely changed my perspective. Simply because just because 2 people are kissing and dancing doesn't mean they're enjoying it, because there are 100 people watching it in a film set.
Right.
So you kind of understand that that's their job. Similarly with pole, what you've seen in the films or what you see strippers do, that's their job. That's who they are. That's a part of their life. That's their job.
Right.
That doesn't define their character or anything like that. It's just their job.
So, but I meant like, was there a movie that you watched? Was there something that an elder might have said when you were little and you sort of carried that belief and it subconsciously made you question, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I just do it for fun but never post it? Like, there's a spectrum, right? With what we allow ourselves.
Yes, I agree with you. But I think for me, my parents have never let anyone else tell me what I can or cannot do. They've been very, very clear with it from the beginning. I remember there used to be fights at home with my parents and the relatives who had anything to say about how I chose to carry on with life. So my parents have kind of, they drew that boundary for me with everybody else. And my father's a huge movie buff.
Okay.
And he would appreciate like a sensual song and be like, must have been so tough for them to act like this. Like that's the first thing that he would say.
Right.
And I would be like, that is weird coming from you. Like, what are you saying? I'm right here.
Yes.
But what he tried to actually make me understand is it's their job. Don't judge them. You don't understand it, question it, stay curious, but don't judge. So I think that helped.
So that instilled in you a really early appreciation for aesthetic and art.
Yes. And I don't remember my parents shaming me for my choice ever. But it's so funny because when I was in 7th or 6th, that time the fashion was this churidar with sleeveless, this short thing or something like that. And I wore that for a wedding and my father was like, you're feeling very hot, is it? Is it too sweaty that you don't want to cover your hands? And from there to now, he's like, since I have seen you wear shorts, I've seen you wear, sleeveless and all, I think it's completely normal now because I'm able to see everybody else as my daughter. Or there's no judgment in my mind as a man. And my father and I have these really open conversations, which may seem very bizarre to people from the outside. But I think he's very open to me in saying that, yes, I grew up in certain situations with certain conditioned, mindsets, but I'm willing to change that. I think that was a big eye opener. So I've never really thought for once, oh, should I upload this? Should I not upload this? Or will people judge me? It's never been a problem.
It's never been a question.
Yeah, because I think my parents have really put in that work to make me feel confident. Yeah.
But once you decided to take this, first you learnt it, then you sort of started experimenting with it on Instagram. I remember all the Tamil songs, and for me, that was such a perspective shift to hear like a song by A.R. Rahman and then you on the pole and like just see how it still works.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps. I don't know why.
And then of course the next step was the workshops, taking it to the public. And as your family saw you through that transition and you're like on the phone with them or they see something get uploaded or like somebody shares it with them and says this is so different, I've never perceived it this way. What was the conversation like behind the scenes with your family as you were becoming more and more a public figure around pole dancing, which people judge, it's controversial, you want to deal with a conversation with sensitized language or you can offend. What was the conversation like with your parents? How did they? Because now it's personal, right?
Yeah.
It's not a movie scene.
It's not.
It's you.
It's in the house.
Yeah.
The pole is in the house now.
Yeah.
No, I think for my mother, she was the first one. When I told her, I was like, I want to go with the pole. I was like, yeah, you must. I mean, it looks so fun. So she was the first person I showed the video to. And she's like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, you should try.
And your mother's not a dancer.
She's not. But she's like, you think I can try it? I'm like, yeah, you can. Of course you can. So she's that type. And I think for my mom, she has not been able to do certain things in her life, and I think she didn't want me to ever go through that pain. That's very, very extremely understanding and sweet of her to do that. And my father is not on any social media, so the only way I can show anything to him is if I send him a mail,
like a WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp video or mail. At that time, he didn't even have WhatsApp. 2019, he didn't have the what do you call it, the smartphone. He had those or the Samsung Guru button phones. So the only way I could send anything to him was on a mail, and his response always is, oh my god, or amazing, oh this is wonderful. That's all, like nothing more than that. And
wow.
Yeah, and his question has always been, you think I can try it? So once when he was in Chennai and there was a camp, he lives in Hyderabad by the way, so when he was in Chennai and there was a camp, he actually came to the class, and I told him, I said, listen, you're going to sit quietly, do not disturb the class, because he has a habit of telling his jokes to all of them. Yeah. And then I was like, please don't do that. And then he's like, yeah, okay, sure, I won't do it. And then he ends up going to every single person with a joke when they're planking. Like they're like dying, and my dad's like, I went to the doctor, this knee, that knee, all these dad jokes. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to give you exercises, you're going to do it quietly. So I made him do some deep squats, I made him do some simple spins. And for someone at 65, he enjoyed it so much. And he was like, now I cannot even imagine how difficult it must have been for the heroines to do. I'm like, everything you have to take back to the heroines. I am here, I am the heroine of your life. And everything he takes back to the heroines. I'm like, it's so hot in Chennai. He's like, must be so difficult for the heroines to act in movies in this condition. Like that's how he is.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
He is. So I think both of them were very, very, very understanding.
So you didn't actually have to deal with sort of convincing anybody.
No, I dealt with them when I wanted to enter the films. That was a big fight at home.
Okay.
My mom was for it, my dad was against it.
Okay.
But my dad would never tell it to me. He would tell it to my mom, like, oh, what is wrong with her? And then to me, she'll be like, yeah, of course you should follow your dreams, Kana. It's very important that you... I'm like, how can you play this double game? Like, what's wrong with you? But that was the only time I had to convince them. And I think the second they knew that she wants this badly and she's not going to listen to us. I'm the only child. So they're like, I think that time they kind of trusted me and believed in me. And I stopped taking money from my parents at the age of 16. So
there's respect that comes with that.
So they understood that, okay, she's extremely serious about this. She's not playing with anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Who did you have to convince?
Myself.
And I say this only because for a lot of people, right, when regular things, not something that's a controversial subject, but just regular things, very often you sort of stop yourself when
Yeah.
you want to do something, even if it's as small as like going somewhere just because your friends are not, they
Yeah.
don't think it's cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that you've dealt with it in different ways, even if it was not like, was it a grandmother? Was there anybody that where it was sort of close to? Was there a best friend? Was there a boyfriend? Was there anybody that it was hard for, that was in your personal space, that was important to you, that you had to create a boundary with, or that you had to have a conversation with and sort of give them a fresh perspective?
No, I think the audience, those were the only people that I had to convince. Because for me, the people that I've been friends with, if you see, they know me. They know that they can't have such opinions and they cannot bring it to me.
Right.
That's just a very clear. It's different when it's advice on, hey, maybe you can do it like this, but there's never, how do I say? There's not that sense of, do you really want to do it? I've never had judgment.
Right.
And any friend that judges you is not truly
Not
your
really
friend.
your friend. Yeah.
Not. So I think in that way, I'm saying, like, the people in my life, I'm extremely gifted to have. That's my biggest privilege. Not money, not anything else. I think the kind of people that I associated myself with have been that way. But the biggest person that I had to convince was myself. Because, you know, you will get some 100 nice, sweet comments and then there'll be just one nasty comment. And you'll start questioning
your whole
everything about
day.
yourself, saying, oh my God, is this how everyone's looking at me? And it doesn't matter, even if your parents love you, even if your boyfriend and your best friend is like, oh my God, this is great, but that one nasty comment will consume you for a bit. And that's the person that I had to convince. And people are like, oh, ignore. I'm like, no, but the problem is it's coming because they're not aware of this. If you keep looking at hate as just hate and not understand why it's happening, I'm not saying every single comment, but there'll be certain people who may look like extremely like normal, like
regular people.
yeah, regular people who don't mean any harm or hurt, but they would still utter something extremely nasty without even realizing. So those were the kind of people that I had to
sort of deal with in your mind, so
in
you
my
didn't
mind.
slow down.
Yes, not with them. I cannot go
Yeah,
convince them saying, "Oh no, look at me in a different perspective. Don't I look like Aishwarya?" I can't do that. But
Right.
in my mind, I had to tell myself that there is a huge lack of awareness because of this. All of this is happening, and if there was a guy in my position, he wouldn't be going through what I'm going through today. You know, they would make it into like this, oh, fantastic sport or fantastic art form. I'm just feel like it's very different for a girl versus
How
a
did
boy.
you deal with it, and how long did it take? In the sense that sometimes you'll get feedback and it'll slow you down for a day, and then you'll go right back at it and be like, okay, no worries, brush it off. And then some people take time and they process something for like 3 days, or they take longer, and then it happens again and again, but it doesn't affect them. Whereas others, something happens, then it happens again, then it happens again. It slows them down every time. So like 5 steps forward, 3 steps back, again and again and again. So what was your process? And give us an idea also. If you don't have
How to deal with it.
No, the like where the attack was at. Was it a like character?
I think it was more like I think there was this comment on Instagram. There's this only happens when something goes viral, because I think the audience that has been following me have been following me for a while, so they understand what I do. But when something went viral, somebody commented saying, "Oh, then this is what strippers do in lockdown."
Oh my God, that's tough. Like, how do you?
And my problem was not
Respond.
that he called me a stripper. My problem was, so you disrespecting the strippers now? Like, that's where my anger was. Like, so you have gone to a strip club, watched them do it, enjoyed it, and then you come out and judge the people who do it. That's where my anger is.
That's hypocrisy.
That's hypocrisy. And that's where, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
So my anger was, why do you say it like it's such a dirty thing? You know?
Right.
And maybe the people who do it have a choice, don't have a choice, are
You don't
trying
know
to
their
make
context.
ends meet. We do not know anything about anybody's life, to be honest. So I was like, one, I'm not stripping. 2, don't disrespect the strippers. So it was
Did you respond back?
no. Because what am I going to tell him? What will I be able to tell him?
Yeah, I mean, you can't convince anyone.
You have already created that judgment in your mind. All I could do is delete. Thank God, at least we have that option. So I just delete, block. That's it. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
meme, like block, 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 block. I was just doing that for a while.
And how do you deal with criticism or just misrepresentation that feels unfair in your mind, so that it doesn't slow down your own momentum and your plans and your drive?
Yeah, I think I am kind of strong-willed. Like, I don't let others' judgments or comments get to me very easily. I'm just not that kind of person. But it does get to me when sometimes, because I'm teaching a lot of people, they shouldn't feel disrespected. They shouldn't feel like they're a part of something that is misrepresented. So that fear was always there, and it's still there. I'm very protective of my community and what we're creating. But one thing I know is I cannot control what comes out of anybody's mouth or phones. Right?
Well put, yeah.
The only thing I can control is how I react to it. And the people who understand it will continue with my journey. People who don't will get down in their bus stop and walk away. That's about it. Like, you simply cannot please every single person. That's what I keep telling myself every day. Wake up, brush my teeth. You can't please everyone. Just be yourself. Can't please everyone. People have a problem, let them have a problem. You can't please everyone.
Just keep brushing.
Keep brushing. Keep brushing. Yeah.
What about the film directors and the music directors, more specifically, whose music you've used, and who have themselves, grown up in a different time, because they might be 50, 60. What kind of feedback did you get from that side?
I mean, not many. I mean, some of them have messaged me. Some of them follow me secretly, I think. I'm not really sure. But they're more than actors. The actresses. I don't even know if that's a word, though. Is actress a word?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So, more than actors, I think the female actors, they always message and they're like, whoa, this is so cool. I'm so proud of you. I love it. And it automatically makes you feel good.
Right.
Because it's not that only because they're actors, but I'm saying even athletes or even someone from a different field, like they could be doctors or lawyers, whoever, who message me, when they say something that makes me happy and it makes me feel like, okay, people are getting what I'm doing and they're not really judging. But one specific message from a director made me extremely happy. It was the movie, I forgot the movie. The last movie of Sushant Singh Rajput's. Dil Bechara. So there was a song called Dil Bechara, and that was I think it was 1 year after he passed, and that song had released, and I posted something for that song, and the director messaged me saying, "Thank you so much for using this music for this. It looks mind blowing. I'm wishing you the best." And I was like, that is so sweet. Like that is he didn't have to do that, but thank you very much. It was very sweet. So stuff like that really makes you. I'm still waiting on my message from AR. I want to be honest, but
you have done a choreograph piece to Chinna Chinna Asai, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, most of his songs, but I still haven't received a DM from him. He was hoping, he was manifesting the DM.
He was manifesting the DM. Was that a conscious choice? Did you, one day think, what, I've grown up with watching all of these movies, why not use a Tamil song that I enjoyed in my childhood? Or did you not think about it, and did you just start practicing with it? And
I think it was like that. It was just the phone was playing whatever it was playing. And then I was doing whatever I was doing. And then when I record, I always record my practice just to see how I look and if I'm doing the right thing. So then once when I saw it and I was like, oh, this is syncing so perfectly for this song. That's when in my mind, I'm like, that's because you're a choreographer. Have you forgotten? You're obviously going to choreograph a piece as you perform. So then I'm like, this makes so much sense, because I am bringing you a concept that you have not really seen before, in the sense you have seen pole dancing in a very different light to a different music, but you've not really seen it as an art form or how I see it. So
Right.
my point was to make other people see what I see in pole and make them feel what I am feeling while doing pole.
Okay.
And I think using his music has really helped me through that journey, because all of us love his music.
Yeah.
And you can never look at something in a different light or in a different way when you're listening to Chinna Chinna Aase. Like, come on.
You can't.
You just cannot.
Yeah.
I think that was
Music sets the tone.
100%.
And it's, like they say, it's a universal language.
Yes.
You don't need words.
You don't.
You just feel.
You just feel. I think that his music did that for me when I grew up in my tough times. And just using that made all the more difference.
And how do you feel when you're dancing on that pole? You said fly.
I cannot put that feeling in a sentence. I just cannot. I think I'll try. I think everyone must pole at least once in their life.
And why is that?
Because of the way it makes you feel. And it's not something that is just explainable in words. It's just not. It's like love. You can find 100 ways, and you can find a lot of adjectives to say, oh, I really love you because of this. You can find 100 reasons, but that love is love, right? So it's something like that. I genuinely, I'm trying, but not at the cost of sounding dramatic and cinematic, but I don't think I can explain it in.
So free?
Yes, all of those things, all of everything. You take all the positive words in the English vocabulary and then put it in one.
And you're including men in this.
100%.
You think men should give it a go?
100%. There has not been a single man who has walked past a pole in my studio and not wanted to go on a spin. Not once. Even the people who came to fix the pole, they were all going around and around. I'm like, can you please get the work done? I have workshops in 2 days. Because it's just such a happy feeling. In fact, there's one day when I was driving past, and in the signal, you know how there are like these posts, these pole posts outside shops to put their boards or whatever. There's a small child just spinning around it like continuously, because that's human instinct, that's natural instinct. You can see cats, you can see monkeys. That's one thing. They used to send me these monkey reels, spinning on the pole. I'm like, oh, it looks exactly like you. I'm like, thank you for the compliment. Yes, that is me. So I'm saying that it's a very natural instinct for anyone to go around a pole. Yeah. That's actually been my goal. I want to put a pole on a main road and see how many people give it a go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it possible though?
Yeah. Of course it's possible.
You'd have a lot of like restrictions, and you have to go through like a bunch of government,
To put a pole on the beach?
The beach, yeah.
On the beach.
You've done that already for your
But
workshops.
that's only for us.
For a period of time.
For a limited crowd, for between us, amongst us.
But is this a social experiment that you're seriously considering?
Yes, 100%.
And have you got a timeline?
I want to do it before maybe August. Because that marks 2 years of me teaching pole. So I just want to see have we really made a difference in Chennai or not.
That sounds like a really exciting social experiment.
Yeah, just to see.
Just to see what people do.
Just to see what people do. Imagine a pink pole in the middle of the beach. There's people walking by just to see how they feel. Yeah.
How has this art changed you in terms of the way that you perceive things?
It's made me mentally extremely, extremely aware of who I am as a person, what I like as a person, what are my boundaries, what are the things that I can tolerate, what are the things I cannot tolerate. The reason that happens is because you're almost using every single muscle in your body while performing without showing any pain on your face. And I think the more and more and more you keep doing that, you kind of build yourself up mentally so much so that nothing in life feels like a hurdle or a big mountain to cross anymore. This is my experience. And I feel like I've reached a point where, I mean, it's only been 4 years, but I feel like I've reached a point where there is no stopping me after this. Like you cannot stop me from doing pole unless it's banned. But even then, I think I'll find other ways to do it. So it's something that has truly changed me as a person. The way I look at myself. It's not anything external. It's all internal. It's like how I look at myself. That little paunch that I have doesn't disturb me anymore. And it's
Really?
Yeah, it's hard for people to believe, like, oh, you know, but I do. It's the truth. You may not see it in pictures because I rarely show it. You probably see it when I'm upside down and you're only seeing the packs. But I do have a small paunch. But that doesn't bother me anymore. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm able to do so much more with this body. That little thing is not going to bother me. Similarly, this small pimple on my face is not bothering me. I'm saying these are small things, but I'm saying in the bigger spectrum of life, there are so many things that I'm able to process in a much more healthier way than before. It's like an outlet to just deal with my emotions and feelings.
Yeah, I would never have imagined this response
Yeah.
from a pole or from like learning
Yeah.
a sport or an art.
Yeah.
So I want to wrap up with a question that is not on my list, but I got to thinking about when we had a conversation before we got into the studio. You said that one of the first things that you do when a student walks in is you tell them before they get on the pole, you're not your body, you are a soul. And you sort of try to get them to disconnect from what they perceive as their body, their height, their weight.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because it's human nature to first tell yourself you can't do it. I don't know about human nature, but at least as a woman, I think you are told you can't so many times in your life that when you actually want to do something, it's second nature for you to say you can't do this. So I want them to get rid of who they are, what their past has been, what their life experiences has been. You come into the studio, you leave everything where you left your slippers. You walk in.
I like that. Leave everything where you left
Your slippers. You walk in like a newborn baby and you're going to try and understand your body, connect to it with zero judgments. Like I said, oh, I'm smiling like this. Oh, my hair looks like this. You know,
Right.
I feel like we as women, we've been told that you need to look a certain way, you need to be a certain way, you need to behave a certain way, you need to dress a certain way. Nobody's actually told us, do what you want. Like I've hardly heard that in my life. For someone who has such open-minded parents who worked in the film industry, I myself have not heard that enough. And if there's one thing that I can help people do is heal their inner child. You know, I feel like we're all just adults with unfulfilled childhood dreams. So I'm like, when I started living alone, I'm like, oh, so I can buy candy and nobody's going to stop me now. So that's how you are as you grow up, especially in your 30s, because one, your friend circle is not the same as when it was in college or when you were 25. You don't have time to talk to people. You don't have time to work on yourself. You don't even have time to have lunch or dinner sometimes. So what are you working so hard for and what are you doing all of this for? Like, there's so many questions in their minds. But when they come to the pole class, I just want them to detach from literally anything that is remotely who they are and try to find and give themselves a new meaning, a new personality. Yeah. Almost like a unicorn. I'm going to be trolled so much for saying this, but like almost like a different world. Yeah. And we live, and our studio's in the basement, so it automatically feels like a different world. But my thing is that if it helps you, even for that 1 hour, be whoever you want to be, then that's great.
I think we're gonna just leave it there.
Yeah.
I really like this ending. So there you have it from Anusha Swamy. If you want to heal your inner child, but you don't want to go to the therapist, try a pole dancing.
No.
Try a pole dancing class.
I'm not saying that this is you can substitute this for therapy. I'm just saying this could be therapeutic.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been so much fun, and it's really been like a shift in my brain as to what one art form can do for you.
Yes, absolutely.
So much more than abs and like looking great, but really it's spiritual.
100%.
You've made pole dancing spiritual.
Now I'm a spiritual guru. Good that my name ends with Swami.
We'll see you next week. Have a great week. We'll see you next week on the Indulge podcast with a new guest.